Hey, what's up guys, it's me your boy Orban Kastay back here with another brand new video, and I hope you guys are having a great day. So we are here for the Spanish Grand Prix weekend prediction. So without any further ado, let's get right into the video guys. So starting off with the top 3 qualifiers. Well, for my prediction I have in P3 Lewis Hamilton. Yes, I feel like Lewis would have the pace and the upgrades that Mercedes has brought to the W14 now should really work, and I think it will be a huge step forward in the right direction for Mercedes over where they were in the past with the previous concept that they were running, that is the zero side pod. So I expect Lewis Hamilton to take P3 in the qualifying at the Spanish Grand Prix. So now moving on to our pole sitter. Is there any surprise? It's Max Verstappen. Yes, I feel like he would easily have the one lap pace advantage over the rest of the field. So I expect him to take a very comfortable pole position. So there's nothing more that I really have to add to that. And the driver that I have to take P2 is his teammate Sergio Perez. Well, for Sergio Perez, the Monaco Grand Prix was not really the weekend that he would want to remember, but I feel like this weekend is something that is very important for him because he has to prove that he can bounce back, and he definitely needs to bounce back to at least not lose any more points to Max. So it's important for him to qualify at least P2 if not pole. So for that I put Sergio Perez in P2. So moving on to the top gainers. Well, for the team I have Haas. Yes, I feel like Haas would have a great weekend here at Spain, and I will not be surprised if Haas managed to score points with both their cars here in Catalonia. They have the driver to do it, and the car also seems like it would have good pace around a track like the Catalonia. So I'm excited to see how Haas performs here in Spain this weekend. So moving on to the driver that I think would have the biggest gain, I have Alexander Albon. Yes, I've been banking on Alex Albon since the Monaco Grand Prix, and I was not wrong. In terms of big gains, I feel like he was right up there. I think Valtteri just about snatched it from Alex for me by finishing P11. But other than that, the Monaco Grand Prix weekend from Alexander Albon, other than the crash that he had at turn 1 in one of the free practice sessions, was pretty much flawless from him. He managed to finish P14 if I'm not wrong, and that in a Williams on a track that is not oriented towards the straight line speed. I think he fared really well, and I feel like the Spanish Grand Prix, the Catalonia track, should work well for the Williams car, and I feel like Alexander Albon would be the driver to extract the maximum out of, let's say, the lower midfield cars. So moving on to the biggest flop. Well, for the team I have AlphaTauri. Well, I mean, AlphaTauri has always been either in the points or not in the points at all, or just been in the fringes of points with Yuki Tsunoda. So I won't be surprised if the same kind of result continues where Nick De Vries is pretty much nowhere. He is in the bottom half of the grid as he finishes the race, and Yuki Tsunoda just in the fringes of points again. So that kind of performance right now for AlphaTauri is below average. I expect AlphaTauri to bring in some upgrades to really increase the pace of the AlphaTauri race car, but it just is not happening. So let's see if AlphaTauri can prove me wrong this weekend, and I would be more than happy to be proven wrong. So in terms of driver that I think is gonna have the biggest flop performance, it's gonna be Logan Sargent for Williams. Yes, it's no surprise. It's either Nick De Vries or Logan Sargent who has been finishing last in the past couple of Grand Prix. So I don't expect that run of form to change. So I have Logan Sargent as the biggest flop in terms of performance this weekend here at the Spanish Grand Prix. So moving on to my 3 bold predictions. Starting off with my first one, I expect for a Ferrari to DNF. Well, it's not really huge bold prediction because literally last year we had Charles Leclerc having to retire from the race lead. So It's not a huge bold prediction, but I do feel like Ferrari could work well in this track because it's not predicted to be too hot. The weather forecast says that there's going to be pockets of rains all through the weekend from Friday to Sunday. So I'm expecting for a very spicy race. So considering that the climate is not going to be too harsh or hot for the cars, I expect to be very rare retirements. So I feel like having a Ferrari to DNF as my bold prediction is genuinely pretty bold. So moving on to my second bold prediction, I have Checo versus Max battle for the lead. Well, let's try to manifest this, guys, because genuinely the last thing that we want to watch is Max to just run away with starting from pole position with the race lead and hard to catch like it was in Monaco. I expect Checo to be up there. Last year he had pace, and I expect it to not change. I really hope he doesn't make any mistakes like he did in Monaco, and I expect for Checo and Max to have a battle for the lead. So moving on to my third bold prediction, I expect a mid-session rain chaos to happen. So as I said in the weather forecast, it says that there's going to be pockets of rain all through the weekend from Friday to Saturday to Sunday. Because there's going to be occasional rain all through 3 of those days, I expect there's going to be some chaos where the race or the qualifying session starts with the dry compound, and as the session progresses the rain falls and it switches to the intermediate compound, or we start off the session with intermediate compound. As the track dries, everyone switching to soft compounds, pumping in fast laps, pretty much similar to what we saw in Brazil last year in qualifying. So these are my 3 bold predictions, guys, and let's now move on to my podium finishes. Well, for P3 I have Max Verstappen. Well, let me explain myself. This is probably the biggest bold prediction. I should technically put this in my bold prediction, but I feel like Max is going to finish this race P3 with the race winner being Sergio Perez. Yes, I feel like he would triumph. He should, because considering he's coming off a huge back foot with scoring 0 points compared to Max Verstappen scoring 25 points at the Monaco Grand Prix, he really needs a huge bounce back. So I really hope he puts his 200% in this Grand Prix to try and outscore Max. Whether Max finishes P2 or P3 is secondary, but it's very crucial for Sergio to take the race win here to gather up some points and momentum moving into the races further into the season. So moving on to the driver that I have who's going to finish P2. Well, I have the home favorite Fernando Alonso. Yes, he finished second in the Monaco Grand Prix, so I feel like he would carry that momentum into the Spanish Grand Prix. It's also his home race, and this is the first year in literally 7-8 years of his career in Formula 1 that he has a genuine competitive car to fight for podiums and race win even in his home Grand Prix. So I feel like he would give his absolute everything to try and extract the maximum out of the car and to take home the best possible result. So having Fernando Alonso in P2 is actually not a huge far-fetch. So I have Fernando Alonso to finish P2. So that is my top 3 podium finishes, guys, and that would also be my Spanish Grand Prix race weekend prediction. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments on what is your top 3 qualifiers. Who do you think is going to finish in the top 3? Who do you think is going to be the biggest gain or the biggest flop of this weekend? I'm excited to know. So with that being said, I would like to wrap up this video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure that thumbs up button, and don't forget to subscribe to the Autobahncast YouTube channel if you haven't already. And also hit that bell icon and turn on all notifications so you get notified whenever I upload a brand new video. It's me, your boy Autobahncast aka Vinesh, and I'm out. Love you guys. Stay safe. Peace.